I love when I curl my hair. I'm scared. Yay. Nobody cares about the man. Wow. Yeah, I love when I curl my hair. Boofy, boofy, boofy. Are you ready? What is up? Hi. Good morning, guys. It is Thursday, and today we're doing a little challenge. I'm going to attempt to read for 24 hours. Okay, here's the deal. The original concept of this type of video is to read for 24 hours straight. I can't do that, because against my will, I will just fall asleep. I've never in my life tried to stay up for 24 hours, and I don't think it would work. Plus, I have a life.
I'm a liar. I love to lie.
So I've decided to split it up. But sometimes people do this challenge where they just put the timer on and time themselves reading for 24 hours, but it'll be across days or potentially even weeks. But I think that's just mostly to see how many books they can read in 24 hours. But I really want to challenge myself. So what I'm doing is splitting it into 3 days. Today's the first day. I'm going to be reading for 6 hours, and then tomorrow the same, but tomorrow I have work. Today I have something important to do tonight, so it's not going to be all in a row, but I am going to do 6 hours today, 6 hours tomorrow, and then on Saturday I'm going to try and do 12 whole hours of reading. I'm hoping to achieve that on Saturday uninterrupted, because I do want it to be a challenge. So yeah, I've got my cute little Twilight shirt on. Look at Edward, he literally sparkles. No one else does, obvi. So I think today might be a little tricky because I have stuff to do, and I'm gonna be starting this challenge reading Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. This is a historical fiction novel about Shakespeare and his son Hamnet, who passed away young. And it's said that the passing of Hamnet was what inspired him to write Hamlet. So I think that's really interesting. Like, I was looking to see if any part of it was like true, and I realized that of course we don't actually know that much about Shakespeare's life. Yeah, in the author's note it says this is a work of fiction inspired by the short life of a boy who died in Stratford, Warwickshire in the summer of 1596. I have tried where possible to stick to the scant historical facts known about the real Hamnet and his family, but a few details, names in particular, have been altered or elided over. Most people will know his mother as Anne, but she was named by her father Richard Hathaway in his will as Agnes, and I decided to follow his example. I'm already about 27 pages in, started reading it a couple days ago, and I'm really enjoying the writing. There's lots of foreshadowing as to what's going to happen to Hamnet, and I think it's done really well, because you go into this knowing that Hamnet's going to die. If you read the back, it says that he'll not survive the week. Wow, this is so interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna go start reading this, start my timer, and see how much I can read in 6 hours today. I'm scared. Okay, welcome. This is probably where I will be stationed for the next couple hours, and I guess it's time to start the timer. I'm actually scared. Okay, I don't know why. Here's my rule I'm setting for myself. Whenever I stop reading, I need to pause the timer, because I want the amount of pages I read to be the most accurate it can be in terms of, you know, how much I could actually read in 6 hours. What is my hair doing actually? I guess it's time to start. Alright, it's 10:16. Let's go. is many hours later. It is now 8:30 and I have only just gone past 3 hours. So I have another 3 hours to go. Yay! But I'm actually really pleasantly surprised with how much I've already read in 3 hours. I read half of the book. Like, that's crazy. I could finish this in the next 3 hours. I am just honestly like flabbergasted.
That is flabbergasting.
I've read, can I do maths, about 160 something pages, which for me is quite a lot. And I don't know if I'm a fast or slow reader. I think I'm average. But I'm very impressed with my effort today. Like, I'm very excited to see how much I can actually read in the 24 hours. I might not be excited when I'm done. I might be exhausted. I might not want to read for a little while. I'm actually really enjoying this book, and I think I was only able to read that much because of how good this book is. I am just so engaged. I love the way it's written. The author is so crazy for how she's written this book. I definitely need to look into if she's written anything else. You know, historical fiction can sometimes be tricky to get into. I was immediately enthralled by this story. Let's see how long I have left on my timer. The day's not over until I've gone to sleep. So if it goes past midnight, it's still today. Yeah. Oh, I have 2 hours, 56 minutes and 58 seconds left. I'm gonna get back to reading and finish these 6 hours. Let's go. Good morning. It is Friday. Yesterday, I completed my 6 hours. Yes! Okay, yesterday I ended up reading 316 pages. I had about 30 pages left of my book, but I decided to go to sleep because I was tired. And then this morning I started my timer again. I got about 27 minutes in and I finished Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I can't believe it. I mean, I did read for 6 hours yesterday, but it was still like, whoa, I can't believe I've already finished this book. You can just see my washing. Let me just... This was phenomenal. I am just speechless. I think I was expecting to be a little bit bored just because, you know, historical fiction, sometimes I get bored, but I was engrossed in every single word that this author wrote down in this book. I thought it was perfectly written. The characters were perfectly fleshed out and explored, and I cried, which when I cry in a book, that's how you know it's good. If I cry, it means I'm connected to the story, I am connected to the characters, I am just in the world of the story, and this was just amazing. I gave it 5 stars, obviously. Could I give it anything else? No. This will be the first 5-star of the year. I'm really happy with this. I was expecting it to be maybe like 4.5 stars. I'm really happy it was 5 stars. And I was a bit worried going into it for this challenge because historical fiction, dense, not a light read. I was just engaged the entire time. This was very unexpected, the way that the story was written, because you hear Hamnet and it sounds like Hamlet, and it turns out that, yes, it's about Shakespeare and his son Hamnet. You think of Hamlet, you think of Shakespeare, and you think this is going to be a book about Shakespeare and his relationship to his son Hamnet and how he dealt with his grief. And yeah, while that's in there, I think the real main character of this book is Agnes, is the mother. Because while Shakespeare is out, living in London, doing his thing, his family is in Stratford, and Agnes is taking care of all the kids and making the house a home and raising them. And what a powerful, powerful story to highlight that. The importance of the woman's story, the wife's story, and what she's going through at home while her husband is, yes, making money, but seems a lot happier away from home and only comes home like twice or 3 times a year. He is providing for them, but she is holding the emotional brunt of this family, and the way that she has to deal with the death of her son is just utterly heartbreaking. And I liked how it explores how Shakespeare and Anne or Agnes met, how they, formed a relationship, what their relationship was based on, but it was mostly from Agnes's point of view. I loved that. I thought that was an amazing choice. Nobody cares about the man.
Why would a man be there? Why would a man be there?
Nobody cares about Shakespeare and his feelings. He was a little whiny bitch who couldn't be strong for his family and literally ran away back to London after his son died. Oh, because my company needs me. What about your family? And then sleeps with other women. Oh my God. The women in these days, the strongest women to ever exist. I don't know. It must have been just awful to be a woman, but I loved Agnes. I loved that it was mostly from her point of view and it was mostly her story about losing a child as a mother. So 5 stars. So yeah, as I said, I'm about 27 minutes into my reading today, which is not good because it is 12:30. And I go to work and then I'll have to read for about 5.5 hours when I get back. I think the next book I'm going to start is One Golden Summer by Carley Fortune. I have borrowed this from the library and I sort of wanted to read it because I wanted a summery romance that I haven't really seen in Australia. Maybe I just haven't been looking, but I haven't really seen Carley Fortune's books in Australia, like at the bookshops. So I was like, let me see if I can borrow it from the library, and I could, so I did. This seems to be a lot of people's favorite Carley Fortune. Some of her books are hit and miss, but this one everybody loved. So I'm very excited to get to this. Nice romance, lighthearted, hopefully, I think. Just a light romance to read after that mess. So yeah, we'll update you when I've started this and we'll see how I go today with my 5.5 hours left of reading. Hi, it is 12:54 at night. I realized that I haven't updated you all day, and I literally read this entire book. So, finished my 6 hours today. I am officially halfway through the challenge. Yay. I don't think I am past the hard part because tomorrow I try and attempt to read for 12 hours. I don't even know what I'm gonna read, but read this today. Really loved it. Was very good choice to read after Hamnet. This was the perfect summary romance. I loved the characters, I loved their chemistry, I loved their banter, the tension was just so good, and the setting was just beautiful. And this is definitely, I mean, it's in the name, but it's definitely one that I would recommend reading in summer and maybe at the beach. But I don't know, I didn't read it at the beach. I was literally on my couch all day and I still had a great time. This was just really good because I could picture the setting so clearly, and it was just beautiful and it was so fun. And I love Charlie, even though he's a little dumbass. It's your typical predictable romance, but I just had a lot of fun and I ended up rating it 4.25 stars. Yay! I'm so glad I actually decided to read this, and I can't believe I read it in a day. I am quite exhausted, but I'm like actually terrified for tomorrow. So I'm going to go probably sleep. Yeah, that'd be wise. I'm gonna try and think about what book I want to read. I'm gonna pick one off my TBR. I want one that I can read for most of the 12 hours. I found that both of the books I've read for this challenge have been the exact same page length. 370 pages, which is actually crazy. This one took obviously a bit less because it was romance and the writing on the page was like just a bit less dense, but what was I saying? For a book that is around 370 pages, it takes me around, I'll just say around 6 hours to finish. So if I read one that's over 500 pages, I should make it most of the way to 12 hours. I don't know. So yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep. And I'll see you in the morning to start my 12-hour reading day. Good morning. I look crazy. Good morning. It is time. The day has come. It's time to attempt 12 hours of reading in one day. I actually might go insane. I have my book choices. I've got these 3 books to choose from. I'm gonna get through at least 1.5 of them. I don't know, maybe 2. Probably not 2. What I'm thinking is starting off with My Friends by Fredrik Backman. Just because it's the morning, so I'll be a little bit more able to process Fredrik Backman's writing that can oftentimes be heavy and really deep. And then after I finish that, I'm gonna move on to Better in Black by Cassandra Clare. And I figure this will be a good choice for towards the end of the challenge because it is 10 different stories of Shadowhunter romance. So the romance between the characters of the Shadowhunter realm, but like every single one, and I'm so excited. So that will hopefully be an easy read. I'll be like, oh my god, I'm so excited. I know these characters, I know their stories, so planning on reading this towards the end. But first I have to get through this one. So yeah, let's get started, I guess. this long left. So that means it's been 3 hours and 20 minutes and I have read 162 pages. I am reading this quite slowly and I'm also annotating. I am really liking this. It's really nice, as I expected because it's Fredrik Backman. But yeah, it's a lot to read for this long and I'm only a third of the way through. So right now I'm predicted to finish at around 10:47, but I am going to obviously take a break for dinner, so I'll be finished. I reckon I'll probably be finished after midnight. But yeah, it's 2:08 right now. I'm really loving this. We're following a girl named Louisa. She's just about to turn 18 and she sneaks into a gallery to try and see this painting that she's been obsessed with since she was little, and she hasn't had the easiest life. She's grown up in foster care and is now homeless, and her life sort of gets entangled with the artist of the painting and his friends, and she is learning the story of the painting and it's really good. I'm just hitting a wall. It is that time of day where I want to nap. It's siesta o'clock. I might have to have another energy drink soon, but yes, I'm having fun. I'll keep updating you. Yeah. Hi. It is now 5:44. Since about, I want to say 1, I've been just keeping the timer going because I genuinely, okay, let me explain. The last 2 days when I was doing my 6-hour challenge, I would pause the timer every time I wasn't reading. Oh my god. And now I'm just sort of like, 12 hours is a long time. So I've just sort of been letting it go and taking like a couple minute breaks here and there. But I've literally read almost 300 pages of this book, which is pretty wild to me because it's like a pretty big book and there's lots of writing on each page. I feel, not that one, but most, and I'm sort of getting over it, but I do really want to finish this before the time runs out. So I don't think I will actually be able to start the other one. Maybe I'll like get a couple pages in. I've just been taking it slow today, and actually, yes, I enjoyed the other 2 books and like processed it, and obviously I gave Hamnet 3 stars. But with this one, I've been annotating and just really trying to appreciate Fredrik Backman's writing because it is something so special, and you can only read his books for the first time once, obviously, with any book. But with his books especially, it's like a nice thing to be able to read one of his books for the first time. You know, I've got 5 hours left, and really my goal right now is to, 1, finish the book, 2, just try and read for most of the 5 hours. I'm gonna eat dinner, but I'm not gonna stop the timer. I think I've proven myself throughout this challenge, and I'm pretty proud with how I've done. Reading 3 books in 3 days is wild to me. I've never read that much in such a short time. Okay. That was crazy. Okay, I did not film an outro. Yay, amazing. So here's a little recap and some stats for you. In the entire 24 hours of reading, I read 1,147 pages, with 316 on day 1, 370 on day 2, and 454 on day 3. I read 3 entire books, and I never actually said my final rating for my friends, but I found 2 5-star reads in this video. That's actually insane and very cool. If you want to see my final review on any of these books, go check out my Goodreads. I write a review for every single book I read. Quality may vary. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. I'm so glad you're here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Why would a man be there?